Hey there, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us for our first Wisdom Wednesday. This is a weekly series. We're going to cover all sorts of interesting topics from census to sea turtles and everything pretty much in between. We hope you come away from each episode learning something new. And as we all enter this new, wonderful world of virtual technology, please bear with us as we are learning this technology as well. So we may have a little blips today, but please be patient. We're learning as we go. And today I'm really excited to introduce you to the Team AARP Alabama. I am Dorothy Dorton with AARP Alabama, and I do outreach and engagement for Lower Alabama. And I'm really excited to bring you Wisdom Wednesdays today. And what I do basically down here is I have a wonderful group of volunteers as well as community partners. And we make sure that we have fun with purpose. And that means we will do anything from learning about the dangers of fraud to making sure we're caring for our caregivers. So that's a little bit about what I do. And during this broadcast, I want you to please feel free to ask questions in the comments, and we will try our best to get to them. And you can contact any of us by messaging us on AARP Alabama on Facebook, and just let us know who you'd like to talk to. And so now I am going to introduce you to our state director for AARP Alabama. This is Miss Candy Williams.
Good morning.
And Candy, thanks for joining us today. Please tell us a little bit about AARP.
Good morning, Dorothy. Thanks for having me. I am the state director for AARP Alabama, and I work with a team of amazing people. So I'm excited that you get to meet us today if you haven't met us already. And AARP, just in case you don't know, AARP is a nonprofit, nonpartisan social change organization with a membership of more than 38 million people nationally, and that's about 420,000 here in the state of Alabama. And we're doing some amazing things at AARP. Our goal is to make life better for today's 50 plus and the generations to follow. And in the face of this constantly changing reality, we're here to support you and to help you navigate. Usually we're in community holding classes on fraud, caregiving, all the things that Dorothy mentioned, movies for grown-ups. We're able to see you in person. You know, we're at the State House, we're advocating, we're talking to our members of Congress. And guess what? We're still doing that. It just looks a little bit differently right now. So until we can meet safely again in person, we're asking you to stick with us here. Join us on our teletown halls, our Facebook Lives. Make sure that you're on our email list so that you are making your voice heard where it is important. And I hope you, like Dorothy said, learn a lot from these Wisdom Wednesdays. We're excited about it. And just know that we really miss y'all. And again, until we can meet again safely, stay healthy. And we want to hear from you. So, send us some messages. We want to hear from you. Dorothy, was that what you needed from me?
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Candy. That was great information. Bye, Candy. And next, it is my pleasure to introduce Miss Dee Caudell. She is our Executive Council President, and she's going to tell you a bit about her role and the importance of AARP's volunteers. And Dee, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's really exciting to be here and be able to tell people about the AARP Alabama Executive Council. We are a group of volunteers, and we call ourselves partners with our staff, with the AARP staff, because we're tasked with acting as strategic thinkers and to bring the voice of volunteers and members to the staff as they work to develop state goals, implement state goals, and we work together to try to bring what is needed for the 50 plus population in Alabama. It's exciting work and it's fun. So my role as the president is to partner with Candy, who you just met, and we work together to decide how best to get the goals, get events, get information to you that you need to make your life better, safer, because AARP is a trusted voice. And the Executive Council's role as bringing the voice of volunteers to the staff is a very important one. One of the things we used to wait quarterly as an executive council, and of course we can't do that face to face anymore, but we still have monthly meetings so that we can be kept up with the what's going on in the state and how we can help as volunteers. The executive council comes from all over the state. We currently have 6 members, one from the north, right from central, southern, and over in the Montgomery area. And we want to keep that diversity in the geographic diversity so that we can represent across the state, not just from one area. When there are events scheduled, we generally help as much as we can and as the staff asks us. So for example, one of our executive council members is going to do a radio spot on how to vote safely, which is going to be an exciting piece that will come out shortly. So becoming a member for the executive council is through a nomination process, both of which you need to work and apply through the AARP.org volunteer. And there's an application process there, followed up by interviews, information sharing, and we try to look for members that can help us do the work that we're tasked with. So thank you very much for giving me a chance to talk about the Executive Council, to let you know we exist, and to hope that you will interact with us as we move forward. Thank you so much, Dorothy, for inviting me today. I really appreciated it.
Thank you so much, Dee, and thank you for all you do for AARP in the state of Alabama. And next we have Bill Hawkins, and Bill is our Federal Advocacy and Outreach Director. Bill, thanks so much for coming and joining us today. Please tell us a little bit about what you do and your role at AARP.
Well, Dorothy, first of all, thank you for having me, and all the folks who are watching, thank you for being part of it. As we've said, things are different, and the way we work is altering. However, one thing that's not changed is AARP's commitment to protecting Social Security, Medicare, and to lower prescription drug costs. So I work with volunteers to contact our members of Congress and make sure our messages get out, that they understand the importance of this and how it affects all of us in Alabama. Another area with which I work is fraud protection. Unfortunately, fraud is a prevalent issue that we have to warn people about. There are frauds going on for now connected to the pandemic. So through radio, through television spots that we have in television stations throughout the state, we do it once a month in Montgomery, Birmingham, Huntsville, and Mobile. We also are always putting out current information. We have a couple of special events coming up. One is a gentleman named Paul Greenwood, who's going to do a teletown hall in October. We'll talk more about that on a future Wisdom Wednesday. The last thing I want to talk to you about is WSFA. On the 16th of September, we're going to have a special phone bank with WSFA in Montgomery. So you can tune in and have folks answer your questions. We're really excited about this because fraud is really personal. And we want you to be able to call in and talk to the district attorney, the attorney general, to us, to police, to Crime Stoppers, and other folks who can help protect you. So again, Dorothy, thank you so much for letting me talk about the best job at AARP, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the program today.
Thanks so much, Bill. Appreciate you being here. And next, I am very happy to introduce Tawanna Wright. She is our outreach director for North Alabama and another one of our great members of our team. So Tawanna, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Dorothy. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for folks to get a deeper look into what AARP Alabama does around the state. You know, a lot has changed since the pandemic started, but I want you to know that our volunteers are still actively conducting sessions in the community. Volunteers are still doing caregiving event and fraud events for groups and organizations. And if you're interested in having volunteers do any of those events, you can reach out to us, like Dorothy said, through Facebook, but you can also email me directly at twright@aa.org. We've got several things coming, and I'm excited because we're going to kick off an exercise series on September 15th called Fit for Fall. And we're going to have a group Collective Culture is going to do those sessions for us. And the sessions are going to be 5 to 10 minutes. And some of them are going to be chair exercises, and some of them are going to push you a little bit more. But remember, we're kicking off Fit for Fall on September 15th. We also have some online events coming up. The first one is going to be September 17th. It's going to be a jobs-related workshop called The Changing Workplace. And as you know, since we've been in the pandemic, a lot of jobs are moving online. The job search has changed. So if you can participate in that session, it'll be promoted on our Facebook page. Again, that's going to be September 17th, The Changing Workplace. We have a workshop on September 20th for caregivers. Caregiving during uncertain times. Things have changed so much, and the way that we go about caregiving has changed. You're caring for your loved one in your home, and you want to make sure things are safe. They'll have great tips on those workshops. We also have other healthy living events coming up. We're going to have a yoga program that kicks off in October. We're doing live events, live trivia. It's going to kick off in October. Our cooking classes. And remember, if you don't do anything, complete census. We need you to get that done. AARP is promoting the census. We're going to have a radio news release, and we want to make sure that everyone in Alabama is counted. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you so much, Tawanna. That was some great information. As you can see, we are all trying really hard to keep going despite this pandemic, and we've got so many events. So please remember to check our Facebook page regularly. We've always got our events posted, and we've always got things coming up. And next, I want to introduce you to Ann Hales, who is our outreach director for Central Alabama. And Ann is going to tell you about some other great events we've got coming up. Ann, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. And it's always a pleasure to be on with you, Dorothy. In Central Alabama, I work with some great volunteers. We support efforts that make our cities more livable, and we also are trying to make sure that we get information to people, really useful information. For example, we work with the Alabama Cooperative Extension and Jones Law School to present several classes on estate planning. We found that many people don't have wills or the important papers that they need, and that can put them in a bind and put their families in a bind. So the extension is scheduling these next classes, and we work with them to do that, and we will announce those on Facebook and also send that out in member email. So if you do not have your email listed with us, please contact us and we'll make sure that you can do that. We also work with organizations to bring you fun virtual events. For the past 2 years, we've partnered with Montgomery's Armory Learning Arts Center to host art classes. And when the pandemic came and shut everything down, we decided to keep these sessions going on Facebook and YouTube. We had to change them a little bit, but we're still doing them once a month. These sessions are not on the same day every month, so you really do have to kind of keep up with us on Facebook. We announce them ahead of time as soon as we know, and it's also on our webpage. You can search for AARP Alabama on our webpage, and the events are online. We might be home more, but we can stay connected. Our next art class is September 22nd, and we'll be doing a jewelry making class. So that's always on Facebook and YouTube, and if you miss the day, you can always come back and watch it afterwards because we'll keep those online. It stays on Facebook for several months, and it will be on YouTube for a long time. But I really want to talk about one of our newest projects, and we've been doing this for about 4 weeks now, and are about to enter the next month. We're bringing live music to everyone's home. We know music is a part of all of our lives, and if you're like me, I enjoy going to concerts and seeing musicians play live, and I really want to do that. Still be able to kind of get that level while I'm at home. And if I'm isolating and trying to stay away, I don't want to miss out on that. And music is such a big part. So we decided to bring music to you with some of Alabama's best musicians live from their home to your home. We call this Alabama Musicians Live from Home, Thursdays at 7. So if you haven't seen any of these, get out your earphones and connect to our videos on Facebook and YouTube. And tomorrow night, turn in to see none other than Dave Crenshaw. He is known for his percussion skills, but is talented on multiple instruments. He's just put out a new album. He'll play some songs that he has just released. I think you're going to have a good time. So that's tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. And again, we'll just keep doing some of these fun events. Send us your ideas. We're always looking for new ideas too. So thank you, Dorothy, for having us.
Thank you so much, Anne. I appreciate that. And Anne is right. Send us some ideas. Let us know. Like I said, again, you can message us on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you and love to hear about what you're looking for these days. And if you haven't had a chance to join us with that live music, please do so. It is phenomenal. And I've learned so much about our local musicians here in the state just by listening to this series. So it's a great thing. Next, I'm very, very pleased to announce to introduce you to Anna Prickett. She is our Director of State Advocacy, and Anna is also leading the way for our Safe Voting initiative. So Anna, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, and just tell us a bit about what you do and all that good stuff.
I knew I would do that. Y'all are so much cooler than me.
It's okay. It's tech. It's fun.
Good morning. I'm Anna Prickett. I'm based out of Montgomery and work to make policy changes for the 50 plus in the state capitol with the state legislators, elected officials, and the state agencies that make decisions that affect our lives. So I work with a great group of volunteers, as the rest of the team does, and we activate on a lot of issues. So like everyone's been saying, the pandemic has affected us all, and it is not keeping us any slower here in Montgomery. We're working to advocate for folks in nursing homes and their families on things like getting accurate data so we can make wise and educated choices for the communities where they live and their families who need to make decisions on their care. Please keep up with that. Right now, you're seeing a lot on visitation, maybe even starting back up in some facilities, and we need to know how to do that in a safe way to keep people protected, but also to break down that isolation that I know we're all suffering from at this time. And also to protect the workforce that have stuck with our folks as they've been in these facilities. So hang in there and stay tuned. We try to keep everything up to date on our Facebook as well on the advocacy front. We also are working, like Dorothy said, on the election in November. We've got a few events that will help people keep informed and make decisions on how they're going to vote, and to encourage everyone to actually vote. It's never more important for the 50 plus population to make their voices heard. So we're very fortunate that the Secretary of State, John Merrill, will be joining us on a live teletown hall September Monday. Let's see, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. September 21st at 7 o'clock in the evening. So those of you who have participated in our town halls, we call out to everybody, but there's also a way to listen in through our Facebook page. So you can participate and listen to their answers and ask questions. The next day, we're actually going to host a movie about the Alabama women's suffrage movement, about how Alabama women won the right to vote, and how that affects us today in the world that we live in. And I think that's going to be a really interesting conversation with the filmmaker who's actually out of Birmingham. So, of course, we are getting ready for the legislative session to circle back around in the new year and preparing for what our priorities will be. I know we'll be working on preventing elder abuse. That is always a top conversation with all of us. And we have some very strong partners along those lines. And then we're looking forward to talking to our volunteers and members about what's important to them as we move forward and address new policy changes. So please try and sign up to be a part of our eActivists network across the state. We are only as powerful as our volunteers and members who empower us. And you have to raise your voices to those elected officials. So stay tuned on Facebook, like we've said, and please contact us anytime that you have any ideas or questions. If you want to get involved, it's very easy with the advocacy side, because you really go to aarp.org get involved to get our e-blasts and then find out what's going on a regular basis. We're also, I meant to remind everybody, I know with the election, there's a lot of questions around absentee voting. If you need any information, you can always go to call the Secretary of State's office to ask for an absentee ballot to be sent to you, or visit our aarp.org/Alabama Votes website, where we've got all of the process and information and links that you need in one place. So please consider what your plan is to vote. Get familiar with the issues that are on the ballot and the candidates as well and where they stand. And then decide whether you are going to go in person or vote from home. And this is hopefully going to supply you with the information you need to make a wise choice. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Anna. We really appreciate that. That was great information. And as you can see on your screen now, we do have that website up, and scrolling below is the Secretary of State's 1-800 number that you can call with any questions you have about voting and voting safely. So thank you again, Anna. That was some great information. Just to remind everyone too, we are going to be keeping our Facebook up to date on our events coming up. After each Wisdom Wednesday is over with, we'll have a little exit video that will show you some of the stuff that's coming up. So please stay tuned for that. We'll actually have one coming up in just a second. And I'd also like to mention, we do not have them on today. They were not able to make it, but we do have some great team members who were not on today. And those team members are Lisa Billingsley, and she is our Senior Operations Associate. And that means that Lisa keeps everyone together on the AARP team. She keeps us all in line. She does everything from budgets to legal inquiries to contracts, and we just couldn't function without Lisa. So I had to mention Lisa. And then, of course, we have Jamie Harding, who is our communications director. And Jamie, you've probably seen on local news stations talking about the danger of fraud or explaining upcoming events or AARP advocacy. She ensures that we get our message out, and she most importantly ensures that we get our message right. So we couldn't do what we do without Jamie. And now, if anyone has any questions in the comments, we'd love to try to answer some good old basic AARP questions. And if not, we will be wrapping things up shortly. Let me see. We have any questions? I see is Birmingham in central or north area? Birmingham is in the north area of the state for us, and that is Tawanna's area for outreach, and she does an amazing job up there. She's always got stuff going on, as you learned earlier. And if there are no questions, that means we did a great job explaining things. But if you do have a question, or if you're like me and you think about a question, later on, please feel free to message us on Facebook with any questions you may have. We'll be happy to answer those. And I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Again, my name is Dorothy Dorton. I do outreach for Lower Alabama, Mobile, Baldwin area, and everywhere in between from there to Central. And, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me about Wisdom Wednesdays as well. It's ddorton@aarp.org. That's ddorton@aarp.org. And we just thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to ask Candy and Dee if they have any closing comments. And let's see there. Hi there, ladies.
Hi there.
Hi. Did y'all have any closing comments, or just want to say?
Dee, I'll defer to you as the lead volunteer.
Well, thank you very much. I just want to
You're
say
welcome.
thank you. Thank you. We're partners. Can you tell we're now finishing each other's sentences? It's getting
Yep.
a little scary. And I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to show the face of the Executive Council. And I look forward to introducing the rest of the council members at a later broadcast, because we want everyone to know that we're working hand in hand with the state to try to bring the voice of the volunteers and the members to the staff. And thanks, Dorothy. This was great.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. And Dorothy, I want to congratulate you on your initial Wisdom
Yes.
Wednesday. Yay! This was fantastic.
Yay!
And it's always great to see, all of our members pop up. It was fun to see everyone come in today and join us. And I'm looking forward to see, all the great things that will happen in upcoming future Wednesdays. And again, we want to hear from you. So if there's some content that we're not providing or some things that you're more interested in, we really need you to just look out, reach out to us and let us know. Again, until we can meet person to person, we're going to be here online, and we really appreciate you sticking with us. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Good job, Dorothy.
Awesome. Well, thank you. It was a team effort. Thank you.
Thanks, Dorothy.
Thank you, Dee. Thank y'all so much. This was definitely a team effort. I'm just excited about Wisdom Wednesdays. You will see some of the other team during these Wisdom Wednesdays as we go over different subjects. Our next week, we will focus on grandparent resources for grandparents who may be raising grandchildren, and other caregiver resources with Della Sanchez from the Area Agency on Aging down here in Mobile. So that will be our next Wisdom Wednesday, and we're doing that in honor of a Grandparents' Day, which is the following Sunday. So again, stay tuned for a quick video about some of our great events coming up. And I thank you all so much for joining us today. Have a great one. Stay healthy, stay wise.